What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. As always, thank you so much for tuning in and checking out just what we got in store for you. Today is going to be a pretty simple video. If you've clicked on the thumbnail, you already know what you're getting into. Today we are going to be installing the external breather kit on Feuling's BA air cleaner. It's pretty simple, guys. If you don't have your air cleaner already installed and you're tuning in to watch how to install this before you put it on your bike, it's definitely going to be a little bit easier to do before you install it because you're pretty much having to take the back plate and everything off again to get to some of the screws. If you already have it installed on your bike like I do, we're going to take the air cleaner off, get the back plate off, and we got to plug up the two outer port holes and then put the nipples on the two bottom port holes. There's two ways you can route your breather lines. So Feuling gives you, with their kit, it comes with two filaments. I'm actually going to just be using one of these. We'll route both lines to just the one using a vacuum T-clamp that'll tee off and connect both of these into one, because I feel like two is excessive because there's honestly not a lot of oil misting or blow by if you're running a vented dipstick or the Trask vented trans cover like I am on the Ghost here. But I do still get misting from time to time. And guys, misting, that oil blow-by that's being sucked back into your engine is terrible for the pistons in there. It just cakes up your pistons and cylinders. It's not good. It's honestly the biggest design flaw on the M8 in my opinion. Like, you should not be, it's all EPA compliant crap. You should not be sucking semi-burnt oil back into your engine. Like, it's just terrible for it, and all to avoid a little bit of misting in the atmosphere. And like I said, it's not a lot, so it's just EPA compliant crap. But doing this is a way to bypass that and not have to deal with feeding that semi-burnt oil or semi-used oil back through the breather bolts and back into your intake. So this is a good way to bypass that and make sure you're not corroding the pistons and cylinders with that oil blow-by. So without further ado, let's get to the install. Like I said, if you already have this installed on your bike, you're going to want to pull it off, get the back plate off. If you have yet to install it on your bike, go through the necessary channels of the installation. I actually have an install video for this air cleaner up here if you want to check it out. But once you get to this next step, you can join us with the installation of this, because this is going to go on at the same time right before you put the backing plate on to your bike. All right, so you can see we got our air breather off, and if you look at where our breather bolts come out, there's a decent amount of oil, and I just cleaned these like a week ago. And there's already a decent amount. Not a whole lot has made it yet into the throttle body inlet, but from the breather holes, definitely. So you want to just kind of wipe this out, get a clean rag, wipe it out, get underneath, because I guarantee there's oil under there. All right. And then while we have this exposed, we'll just get our throttle body wiped out, even though it doesn't necessarily need it on mine. It's not a bad practice to do. Turn our attention to plugging up the holes on the back plate. Okay, so we got our hardware here in the little bag. Set that off to the side for now. We got our thread locker, 545 red Loctite. We're going to need that. The filter filaments can be set off to the side for now. We are taking our back plate, and I'll show you on here. you can see how much oil has built up on these spacers. So these are the spacers in between the back plate, the mounts on the bike. You can see how much oil is accumulated on there. You look at this one's got a decent amount. We'll get this wiped out so it's nice and clean. Clean that up. Wipe our spacers off. So here is what we are going to do next. We are going to get an Allen key and we're going to remove these here. Take a 1/8 Allen key and we're going to remove this little plug that's on the side. And that is, if you heard that crack, they're definitely Loctited in there. So we'll get that out. It's just these little plugs. And then we're also going to get the bottom one out. And that one's 1/16. This one had a ton of Loctite on it. So those just come out. There's one on each side. Got that out. And then we're just going to want to make sure that these passages are clear, that there's no debris or anything in our holes here. And the way this is going to work is you're going to take your hardware that's supplied and we're going to essentially just feed it through, and you can see there's a hole on the inside here down there. And we're just going to feed that through to plug that hole off. Okay, and then we're going to take our little 8/32 by 3/16 block offset screw, super tiny. We'll just dab that with just a little bit of our Loctite. So turn this flat to where it's not falling on me. We'll just stick it through and we're going to cap off these holes. You don't need to torque the hell out of it, but as you can see, now it's plugged right there. So we got that set screw in with the Loctite. And then we'll get the other side the exact same way. A little dab, Loctite. Next up, we are going to take the outer plugs, which is the little bit bigger ones that we just took out, and Feuling gives you new ones, and those just go in here on the side. And these also will need Loctite. All right, those are back in. We'll do the other side now. A little bit of Loctite. those are set. We got our bottom ones left. And these are your 2 remaining bolts with the nipple. Also are going to get a dab of Loctite. So every bolt gets a dab of Loctite, guys. And then these are just going to be going in on the bottom of the plate. Start these by hand. We're going to have to hit these with the socket. So that's a 5/16 socket. We'll take our new washers, put those back in with a little bit of grease on there or oil. Okay. All right, so from here, we can get our back plate mounted back onto the bike. And make sure your gasket is still good on the throttle body. And then we're just going to take our velocity stack bolts. And we're doing this to center this back on to the throttle body. You would think you would put the breather bolts in first, but doing it this way allows you to center it up. So when you put the breather bolts back in, it's not wanting to bind up. So we'll take our spacer. That's just going to go behind. It's also important, guys, that your spacer is lined up and it isn't in there at a weird canted position, or it's going to leak. So we'll get these tightened back down, our breather bolts. And these are going to get torqued with a torque value of 22 to 24 foot-pounds. I usually do mine at right around at 23, just right in the middle. And you're not going to want to tighten this all the way down on the one side until we get this side tightened as well, or started to be tight. And I'm just kind of holding this spacer here so it doesn't want to bind up or get in a weird position once it's tightened. So you want those flush. Okay, so that's tight, and then we'll jump back over to this side. Make sure this one's straight, and it is. We're going to pull these back out, and then I'm going to torque those at 23 foot-pounds. Okay, and now is the time that we are going to run our vacuum lines for the filament, or filter, whatever you want to call it, filament, filter. Zip ties, guys. I'm going to put one on every end. We're talking just small little zip ties. Just start it. But yeah, these are just vacuum lines. Got one zip tie on that side. And plug it in to that other nipple on the right side. Get our other zip tie. can always trim more if need be, guys. So start kind of slow. You don't want to trim off too much at once. Like I said, you can always trim more if you need to. Okay. So we'll take our T off. Okay, that side's on. Then we'll zip tie it. It's kind of crazy how I just lost that damn zip tie out of nowhere. Just like that. Now, take our filament. I'm going to actually do it this way. So, come up behind our tappet covers and pushrod tubes. All right, so as you can see, I routed mine back behind our pushrods, comes straight down behind the front head pipe, down along the right side of the cam chest, and then goes down and drops down all the way down here. It's hanging at the bottom. So next up, I'm just going to find a spot to zip tie this off, probably up in here. That way it's not in the way of when I put a lift or something under here. This isn't going to be in the way. All right, guys, so we got it routed to the bottom of the frame, tucked up under there so it's not in the way of any of our lifts, scissor jack, or anything like that. It's not going to get crushed. And we zip tied it straight to the frame of the bike, tucked up under there nice and neat so it's out of the way. Now we can take our cage, and you're going to want to make sure that your gasket is back on, and we're just going to stick one of our velocity stack screws in there, and that'll help to hold our gasket on. If you need the full detailed instructions on how to install this, guys, you can click the link in the description for the video, or it was a little bit back at the beginning of this video, up in the top right. Just get this started. And then for the last one. So once you get your velocity stack screws in and tightened, take our filter element and throw that in there. Need to make sure there's a gasket on the back of this as well. You're gonna want to make sure that's on. It'll sit back here up against the filter and the cage. And I like to throw mine in to where the Feuling lettering is on the outside. Flip this over, make sure our Feuling logo is at the bottom. And then we'll start just threading these in. I like to do the longer ones first. Then we'll get that one just tight enough to where this isn't going to want to move on us. And drop that glass out. Get our 5 remaining bolts, the 2 long ones and the 3 short ones. We'll do the other 2 long ones. Okay, now the 3 short ones. I know there's a torque spec for these guys. It's on the original video that I posted for this install. If you really want to know the torque specs, you can go over there and check it out. But I've always just found it okay to just make sure these are hand tight, because honestly they don't back out, especially with a little bit of Loctite on there. And that is it. So as you can see, you cannot see the lines for the external breather. I mean, other than right here on the side, but they're all good to go. Nice and tight and secure. Teed off behind it up here, and then ran behind the push rod tubing, and then straight down behind the pipe in the front, and it runs. You're not going to be able to see it, but it just runs along the rail, and it's tucked up under here and just zip tied. You can actually see the zip tie right there, and it's just tucked up nice and neat under there to where it's not going to be in the way. That's it, guys. That's the external breather install from Feuling. It's super easy. If I wasn't filming this, it probably would have taken me 10 or 15 minutes to do. That's how easy it is. It's not bad at all. All right, guys. So that's it. As you can see, not complicated to do. Definitely give the video a thumbs up if this helped you. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Thank you for being here. Make sure to subscribe. As always, much love from Utah. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Until next time, peace out. Bye.